Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition, 4. By Philip Schmuÿle. Promenade IV. This promenade represents one of the breakthrough points in the entire suite. This is the first time to express the theme of promenade in a minor key, so it reflects the sad tone of contemplation. Compared with the previous versions, this promenade incorporates inverted segments of the main theme, based on tritone, as shown in measures 5 to 8. Except one that ends on submediant, each of its phrases ends in a dominant, without a solution. This leaves the impression of an unresolved problem. This promenade ends with the music of Unhatched Chicken Ballet. Therefore, instead of being gradually approached by composers, it is as if the picture itself interrupted his pace and broke into the promenade. Ballet of the Unhatched Chicks. Stasov described the painting that inspired Mussorgsky's Ballet of the Unhatched Chicks as Hartman designed costumes for the ballet trilby performed at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg. The actors include many boys and girls from drama school. Some of them dressed up like canaries, others dressed up like eggs. Mussorgsky chose to portray Hartman's illustrations through the charming and outstanding scherzino. This movement is created in an ABA ternary form with a short coda, and Parpia's Marxist trio. Despite its transparency and obvious structural simplicity, this movement still has a charming harmony palette, so as to create a shocking musical image of the original picture. The A section contains motif X and Y, each of which has 4 measures. The 2 motifs are presented twice in alternation. While motif X stays the same in both length and melodic content in its repetition, the second one is restated on a higher pitch and expanded with 4 bars. Its extension leads to the climax of the music, that is, the accent to D-flat in the higher register. The middle trio proposes 2 melodic ideas, each of which is 8 bars long, both are marked with repeated marks. The texture in this period is particularly charming. The first melody consists of 5 separate layers, played together on PPP, create a fascinating musical image of the chicks flying for the first time. In the second half of trio, the texture is reduced to 3 layers, motif Z on the left hand, and playful and capricious cell Z on the right hand side is composed of a series of 3-note line segments. Samuel Goldenberg and Schmuÿle. The structure of Samuel Goldenberg's section A consists of 2 motifs X1, and 1 motif X2. Motif X1 contains cells X1 and X2, and motif X2 contains cell X3. Cell X1 has only 2 powerful notes. Cell X2 has 3-note and 4-note variants. Cell X3 is a tetrachord, appears 3 times. The composers use cells of different lengths to connect the various elements of the speech of the rich, interjections and words. Samuel Goldenberg gave the audience an unpleasant impression, with the constant change between the natural fourth step and the augmented fourth step, as well as the alternation of the seventh natural step with the seventh harmonic one. This alternation reveals Samuel Goldenberg's manipulative character, and openly expressed the willingness to win a debate at all costs. Section B is labeled andantino, which means slower speed. Compared with Samuel Goldenberg's character, Schmuÿle's dynamics are quieter. Section B consists of motif Y, with its variation Y' on the top. Obviously, Schmuÿle lacks confidence, because each of these 4 phrases ends with diminuendo from mezzo forte to piano. Suddenly, in the first half of measures 17 to 18, Schmuÿle started talking like Samuel Goldenberg. Now, the rhythm and melody line of Schmuÿle starts to resemble the rich man heard in a section earlier. In section A on B, the rich man started his rebuttal loudly. The speed has returned to andante. Grave. The rhythm and melody of the poor man changed again, there are no more appoggiaturas and mordents. This time Schmuÿle's melody is played in octaves, and the sound is very firm. In measures 22 to 25, the long phrases of the rich man begin with mezzo forte and end with sforzando. Samuel Goldenberg's speech exuded anger, showing that he was unwilling to compromise. The argument suddenly ended with an augmented chord, followed by a rest with a fermata. The silence at this moment marks a very important psychological moment in this piece. It cools boiling emotions, creates expectations, and at the same time increases. The short and expressive coda begins after this fermata with the composer's indication, poco ritardando con dolore, holding back a little and with sorrow. The piece ends with the rich man's concise and powerful last sentence, marked a tempo, crescendo, sforzando, and then fortissimo.